And welcome back to another episode of Life in Prison. My name's Zach, and today what we're going to be getting into is why the fuck y'all still ain't hit that subscribe button yet? I see y'all watching, but I don't see y'all subscribing. And back to West Virginia, Huntsville Correctional Center, maximum security prison in West Virginia. Doing a little bit of discussion with Chewy on COVID in prison. You know, a lot of these dudes, once you catch something in prison, cancer, COVID, you really don't get the treatment that you really need, like you do out here on the streets. You know, some people are able to go through gender reassignment easier than they're able to get treatment for cancer. It's all about money at the end of the day. So, we're going to speak with him on a little bit of things that's changed, you know, in maximum security prison over the past couple of years, and that's still going to start changing. It's not going to stop changing. So, sit back, relax. I hope you enjoy the interview, and if you're wondering about this fire t-shirt, Stone Collective, my man Caleb, he got the shit on lock. This shirt's fire. If you're ever interested, go ahead and hit me up and I'll get you in contact with Boyd, because the product that he has, as I'm saying, is some fire. Hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that notification button so you're first informed when I upload. So, as always, I send my utmost love, loyalty, respect. Go ahead and catch that traction. Come back for more, and I promise you won't be disappointed. Alright? You guys have a good day. Alright, today we are back with Chewy, Huntsville Maximum Security Prison. So, since I've been out, COVID has obviously hit, you know, end of 2019 and going into 2020. What has changed in prison since COVID? Like, do they test you guys on a regular basis with you being a worker?
No, actually they don't. Their testing consists of checking my temperature every day before I go to work, and that's it. Unless somebody gets sick, then they'll come through, and whoever lives on that dorm that's in the working, they'll come and grab them like they did today. Somebody that was working down there tested positive, and they came and got everybody from that dorm from the kitchen that had already been handling trays and everything. They came and got them, and then they locked the pod down.
It was already too late with that.
Yeah.
So what do they do whenever they take these groups of people, these workers and stuff? Is there someone there to replace them? So someone's there now working their spot?
No, not really. We just get fewer and fewer workers. When we were quarantined, only one side of the prison picked up the slack for everybody else. At one point, there was 8 of us running the entire kitchen.
Oh, how many people are normally running the... Are you talking the front end and the back end, or just the back end?
Yeah, since they shut it down, they don't have a chow hall for the inmates no more. So they've put food on all the trays and then deliver it to each dorm. So there's nobody working the front, it's everybody working in the back, just preparing the food and loading it on the trays and taking it out.
Now, do they go on like these big metal carts? Are they on the regular small thin prison trays, or did they make them into like styrofoam or bulkier trays?
If the dorm is on quarantine, they're supposed to get a styrofoam tray. Which doesn't hold as much food as a normal tray does. But now they're not even the thin trays, they're the big fat plastic ones that you used to get back in the hole.
Oh, like the ones in jail, like the jail trays.
Them big dumb rubber things.
Oh my God! How many times have you been tested yourself for COVID?
I've been tested, I say maybe a total of 8 times.
8 times. Have you
Yeah.
came up positive yet?
Not once.
Not once.
They had me over in quarantine. I was in quarantine for like 21, 22 days, something like that. Just because this situation that happened today, I was around somebody that tested positive. So they took all of us over there at one time and put us into cells. And so I stayed over there, never tested positive. The positive cases would come over there with us in a separate cell, but they'd leave before I even got to. They'd leave in 7 to 10 days, and I had to stay over there.
Now, whenever you're in these quarantine, are you stuck in your cell for 24 hours or is it 23 hours?
At first, it was 23 hours for the first few days until they figured it out how to make the schedules a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was 22 hours a day.
Okay. Now, has anyone there at Huntsville died from COVID yet?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a few people, and I knew one of them pretty good, and it was crazy because we had heard he died and got COVID, but we weren't certain, and then we found out, yeah, he did die, but it had been a couple weeks. But when they put me in that quarantine dorm, I walked by and I seen all of his property with his name on the bag. It was still sitting there.
Oh, wow. Now, are they, whenever the inmates are catching COVID and they're actually, really bad off, are they keeping them there at the prison or are they shipping them out to Elkins to the hospital?
Yeah, they keep them until it's like real bad. While I was over there, I watched 3 of them. The people from Elkins, the people came in the ambulance and picked them up. There have been guys over there on breathing treatments 24/7 and even IVs in the cells with them.
Wow.
And it got to where they had to come pick them up and take them out on the stretcher. So they wait until like the very end pretty much.
Oh my God. Now, have they been offering the COVID vaccine to the inmates in there?
Yeah, that's the one thing that they did start doing. It was slow at first, but then they started offering it. People were getting it. I didn't want to get it, but they refused to hire me for any job unless I got it. So I sort of figured, why not, and go ahead and get it.
Gotta do what you gotta do now. Did you have any, adverse effects after the vaccine?
Yeah, it made me feel like I had the flu for about 2 days.
Okay.
Just real tired. I slept.
He said, I just slip it off. Now, I wonder if they're gonna keep, with these boosters coming out and, God forbid that, that these new strands keep coming up, as they will. I wonder if they'll keep offering the booster shots to the inmates in there.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think they have been already.
Okay.
For some of the older guys.
Well, I guess that's good, you know what I'm saying? Especially being so confined because, if the only way this stuff's coming in is either by a CO or by some outside worker. So once it gets into the facility itself, it's going to spread like wildfire because everyone's packed in like a sardine can anyways.
Yeah, it does. It spreads pretty fast. I was the first one to go over there to the quarantine dorm.
Mm-hmm.
And before the day was out, the entire place was filled up. The whole dorm.
Damn. Instead of doing gang roundups, now they're doing COVID roundups.
Pretty much. That's really what it is, and they shut shit down for that. So people could just pack their shit around, and it's pretty crazy.
God damn. So I'm sure that now that since COVID's hit and there's a lot of restrictions, is there less fights and less stabbings going on?
Yeah, there's less of that. Although there's some big things that happened the other day. There's a a CO got beat up pretty bad over on a dorm, and there was 2 or 3 before that, bigger fights to where there's like 10, 15 people involved.
Normally that's how it always used to get. Like on B2, man. Once one thing happened, because a majority of people up there was involved in something. Once one got involved, it was like 7 to 10 came out the woodwork, because it's automatic, is as is. Once one jumps, you all better fucking go.
Yeah, otherwise you'll be in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, shit pops off over the smallest thing. Like, with me, I got involved with an individual, an argument over a laundry bag, to where it turned deadly like in an instant. Within the span of, I'll say, 2 or 3 minutes. It was a misplaced laundry bag that he misplaced, but he blamed me for it. And then it turned into a fight, which a knife got pulled out, and I didn't get stabbed. He didn't get stabbed, but I was able to get it away from him. His face didn't look very good when we got done.
It's funny because like out here on the streets right now on TikTok is a lot of this dude that he'll disarm somebody with a knife and a gun and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But this is funny because this is real life shit with somebody that's really trying to kill you, but you disarm them, take their knives, and then turn their face into fucking chocolate pudding.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It looked like he was allergic to bees and got stung a bunch of times.
Oh my god.
Even something as small as a cup of coffee with the same individual, how that turned into him getting stabbed like 17 times.
Out here on the streets, I'd heard from a couple, DMI members that there was an incident that happened up at Huttonsville a couple years back now. So, since you was there, go ahead and explain the story, because I always tell my subscribers how the smallest things can create the biggest problems, the biggest issues. Some people, have lost their lives before for something small as stamps or a cup of coffee, for instance. So what happened?
So it all started over just somebody wanted a cup of coffee and another person didn't want to give it up. So it escalated like over maybe a day or two. A few certain things happened in between, but it all comes back to this one cup of coffee. And one night I was just chilling, like everybody knows when something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
We just knew it was gonna happen, just don't know when.
It's like there's static in the pod, and like sometimes shit gets quiet, people click up and just kind of stare and watch at everything. It's real eerie. It's real eerie.
You could literally feel it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a weird feeling. But yeah, man, that shit popped off that night. And just out of nowhere, just watching this all go down. And, it lasted a few minutes, but then it was over. But it was just the smallest things. Like, he even got up and walked out here. He'd been stabbed like 17 times. His lungs were punctured. He had stab wounds through the head, in the face, just all over. And it's crazy because it was, me and him were just in the same situation, a couple weeks before that. But it was a different situation over a laundry bag. But, he walked out smiling and went to the hospital.
God damn.
Like nothing happened.
Yeah, Tommy Cartwright, he's been doing time for a very, very long time, and he was one of those individuals. He kind of hung out with some of the dudes that used to chase boys and stuff like that. But Tommy was he was one of those dudes. Yeah, he did what he did, but he will attempt to push a knife very fast.
Yeah, that's what he liked to do.
Yeah, unfortunately, he got his face turned into, as I said before, mashed potatoes fucking with you.
Yeah, but even after that, he was my friend before that, and he was still my friend after that. We shook hands, we were cool, and I was even there the night he got stabbed, and I come down to help, not to fight or anything, but make sure he could get up and go get the help he needed. Because he was pretty bad.
And that's what I like, there's plenty of times where, I was in prison where things happened and you might have, jade someone out or stomped someone out, but, thinking you might have to watch your back, but honestly, down the road, you be working on the same weight pile beside the same dude that you just, end up smashing their face in, and it's kind of like, at the end of the day, you kind of have to squash it because you're forced to live with this person, so you can either keep going to war back to back, or just call it even. It is what it is. We're grown-ass men. I got my ass whooped, but, you win some, you lose some. But you live to fight another day.
Yeah, and it goes, when you're running in the circles like we did, it involved way more than just us. It involved a lot of people. And then if it doesn't get fixed soon, then it creates a big problem for pretty much everybody in the prison. Because then they start locking the entire prisons down. A lot of people going to the hole. A lot of people fighting. And usually it's over nothing. It could be somebody cutting in line. Somebody not saying excuse me, or not giving a cup of coffee. It sounds crazy, but this stuff happens on a daily basis.
I feel like people want to be respected, or they want to feel relevant, you know what I mean? And they seek these violent actions, and they get these violent tendencies because they feel that that's how they're going to earn their respect in prison. Because honestly, really, at the end of the day, some of the more feared people are the violent ones who have, done smash people off and this and that and putting all this weight up. People will resort to doing some crazy stuff for the smallest thing. Like you said, butting in line. Someone might take that as disrespect. Well, someone may not feel like they want to be disrespected that day. Now they're going to get stabbed because they want to do some cutsies.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So, in there, right, whenever people have a lot of this tension built up, what's a lot of ways that people in there what's some things that they can do to get their minds off of? I know that with COVID right now, things are shut down, but what's a few different things in there that if the prison were to be open, how could you get your mind off things?
Well, a lot of people like to hit the center yard and lift weights. That's the main thing. But since they took most of the weights out, there's only enough out there for maybe 8 people to lift one thing at any given time. There's just 6 bars maybe to bench with, and a couple little Z bars. That's it. Most people hit the yard and just walk around and talk. They have been letting people go to the gym, but only like 2 dorms at a time.
Now, in the gym, do they still have some of the cabled equipment down there?
Yeah, they do got some of that, but the same thing happens. There's not enough for everybody, really.
Yeah.
So you either got to choose to play basketball, walk some laps while other people use it, and hopefully something opens up in that hour, because that's all you get is an hour.
Man, I remember when I first hit Huttonsville, 2011 going 2012. they had a ping pong table down there. And that thing, at the end, before they ended up taking it out, it was the centers of the table kept getting, chipped out because people would smack the table with their rackets. But that was one thing that I started getting cracked out on. I would play ping pong almost every day to, what I'm saying, just to keep my mind focused and shit. And I got okay with it. Obviously there was dudes there were smoking people, but, that was one thing that I focused heavy on before they ended up taking it out.
Yeah, they've really took everything out. We used to have a gigantic weight pile on the big yard. There used to be volleyball nets, footballs, even frisbees, all that. We don't have access to none of that. We used to have softball games. All that's gone.
Now with the softball, did they ever used to let different prisons play different prisons?
I heard there used to be people would come in from the street and you could play. I know at another prison there used to be basketball leagues, and people would come in from the street and play the inmates once, twice a week. But everything's just really gone downhill.
I feel like they've started taking a lot of, they're taking more and more things away from the prisoners, which is, in actuality, you got dudes in there that are never getting out, ever. That's the way that they would do their time, so the more you take from them, what do you think's going to happen? They're going to start getting angry. The big yard, that was the first place that I'd ever made a knife from. Do you remember the picnic tables out there by the weight pile and by the softball field?
Yeah.
They never took the nails out of those fucking things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say on here how they got in because you know what I'm saying. But yeah, man.
They went through and tore all of that stuff out, and they put cement slabs down, and they got steel tables everywhere now.
Oh man, I know.
So, like the whole weight pile out there is completely gone. It's just a big cement slab, and you got a couple tables to sit at.
Damn, they probably didn't want people smacking each other with the weight because out there, it would take them so much longer to run out there because the people in the shack would have to see you first or at the gate, then radio it in, and then the people at the gate would have to then run all the way down and then all the way out or go through education since those doors are right there too.
Yeah, I've seen them have to come out there a couple times, but that was before the weights even left. Which we never really had a problem. I left and went to town the other day, which was pretty cool, and I didn't get car sick. But I've seen all of our weeds sitting out there.
They're still sitting out there on the other side of the fence?
Yeah, man, there's weeds growing through them and shit. It's all overgrown.
Now, when was the last time that you had been in a car?
Probably when I divorced my wife a few years back. I've only been in a car 4 times, I think it is, in 13 years.
Oh, wow.
So these last 2 were pretty close together. Wow,
so how was that drive? How was that driving to Elkins?
It was pretty cool. I had a big beard, I just shaved, so I thought it would be funny to rock this big ass handlebar mustache. And out of nowhere they called me and suited me up, took me out, and I didn't know. I was embarrassed as fuck because I didn't have no time to shave that big stupid thing off my face. So I tried to keep my face hidden the entire time.
Oh man. I bet you that was a nice, enjoyable ride, though, seeing all the scenery, seeing all the wood shops out there. Because there's a lot of wood companies out there in the middle of fucking nowhere.
It was pretty cool to see that. And it makes me miss it and makes me want to work that much harder to get my chance to come back up.
I hear you. So it's getting close to the end. Do you have anything you'd like to say to the subscribers, or any shout outs or any hellos or anything?
I don't know. This is all new stuff to me. Like I've never even seen this stuff before.
All right. Well, I'll say it for you. We greatly appreciate it, man, and I'm sure that we're gonna have a couple more to come. Take it easy, man. I love you.
I love you, bro.